Hi everyone, Miss Sam back from the library. Today I have a cooking video for you. I'm going to teach you how to make baked macaroni and cheese. I've been wanting to do more cooking videos for you guys, so if there's anything in particular you want to see, let us know and we'll make it happen. Alright, so first I'm going to go over what we need to make macaroni and cheese. I've got my pasta boiling on the stove here. It's actually just about done. You want to follow the box directions for your pasta. You can use macaroni, it really doesn't matter what you use though. I'm using farfalle today just because that's what I have, the little bow tie noodles. So you want to make sure your pasta is al dente. What that means is that the pasta is still firm. You want to do that because when you put it in the oven, it's going to continue to cook a little bit. So if it's too done before you put it in the oven, then you'll have soggy kind of macaroni and you don't want that. So our ingredients, we have 4 tablespoons of flour, 4 tablespoons of butter. We've got our seasonings. For today, I'm using a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of mustard powder, a teaspoon of paprika, and half a teaspoon of white pepper. That's a little different than black pepper. You probably have it in your pantry. If not, you can find it at Giant or Weiss or wherever you get your groceries. Next, we'll need a cup of chicken broth, and 2 cups of milk, and about 3 cups of cheese. Today I'm using cheddar and Parmesan. You can use basically any cheese you want. I'm going to go ahead and get my pasta drained and be right back to show you how to make the sauce. Alright, I've got my pasta drained. I drizzled just a little bit of olive oil on that so it wouldn't stick together too much while I'm making the sauce. My oven is preheating to 375 degrees. And I've got my butter melted over medium heat. So next thing I'm going to do is add the flour and whisk it into the butter. When you have a 1-to-1 ratio of butter and flour in this way, you make what's called a roux. That is a common base. It's spelled R-O-U-X. That's a common base for many dishes. And I'm going to show you here what that looks like. You create kind of a paste. So my cameraman here is going to tilt that for me. All right, and you see how you get kind of that beige paste? That's what you want. That's the base of our sauce. So we go ahead and pan back out. I'm going to let this roux cook for just a couple of minutes. Not long. You don't want the stove too hot for this. If you burn the butter, that's no good. You don't want that. So you want to keep this moving. And let that get nice and thick. This is what's going to thicken the sauce. So anytime, whether you're making cream sauces or gravy or scalloped potatoes, lots of different dishes, you're going to start with this base. Alright, so I think that's cooked long enough. Next, I'm going to add my chicken broth. Get the spoon out of there. So for the chicken broth, you can get canned or you can get the stuff that comes in the carton. Today, what I used is something called bouillon. Bouillon comes in little cubes. It's kind of like the seasoning that comes in your ramen. It's like that, but it's hard in a cube, and you dissolve it in hot water, and that makes chicken broth. And it comes in, you can get beef, vegetable, whatever you need for your dish. So if you want to make vegetarian mac and cheese, you can use vegetable stock instead of chicken. So I'm just going to whisk that in. Next, I'm going to add my milk, my 2 cups of milk, and just keep whisking. Another little cooking note, when you have a roux and you just add milk to it to create a sauce, that's something called a bechamel. So now you can impress your friends and family with your cooking knowledge of roux and bechamels. It sounds really fancy. Alright, so I'm going to keep this moving over medium heat until it thickens, and I'll be right back for you. Alright, so I've been letting the sauce cook for about 5 to 7 minutes. The most important part is that you keep it moving and you don't let it boil. When you boil cream, bad things can happen. So you want this to be hot but not boiling. So I'm going to bring it over and show you what it looks like. So it's thickened, as you can see, but it's not super thick yet. It's going to thicken more as it bakes. So just so you get an idea of what that looks like. So I'm going to turn the heat off. Once your sauce is ready, you remove it from the heat completely, and then you add the cheese. You want to add most of the cheese, but not all of it, because you want some to put on top as well. So I am just going to dump some of this in here. The sauce will be hot enough to melt the cheese without putting it over the heat anymore. So I'm going to leave some of that cheddar, and I'm just going to dump all the Parmesan in. Why not? That sounds good. Okay. And tell you what, why don't I show you how the cheese thickens it up as well. So you just want to slowly whisk that cheese in there. See, it's all nice and gooey and delicious. Oh yeah, making the cameraman drool over here. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep stirring that until it's all melted. I think that looks pretty good. Oh, also while it was cooking, I added those seasonings that I mentioned at the beginning. I forgot about that. So while it's cooking, just sprinkle those in and whisk them in, and you'll be good. Okay. I think that looks good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my pasta here. And I'm going to put it right in the dish. A few that are sticking to the edge, just get everything in there. And then we're going to pour this cheese right on. Oh yeah, that looks good. All right, move that off to the side. And you just want to stir that in a little bit so everything's coated. Okay, I'm going to put the rest of the cheese on top. And then I'm going to bake this for 30 minutes until it's all hot and bubbly. When that comes out, I'll show you what it looks like. All right, my mac and cheese is ready. It's out of the oven, hot and bubbly, and I'm ready to dig in. Let me know how yours comes out, what other content you'd like to see. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.